Hi, St. John's. We are so thankful and excited that after nearly 4 months of not being able to have in-person worship, that we are now at a point when we can begin to welcome people back into our building. In-person worship services will start to resume here at St. John's the first weekend in July 4th and 5th. Each weekend, we will be offering 5 in-person worship services. A 5 p.m. Saturday evening worship in the church sanctuary. An 8 Sunday morning worship service in the sanctuary. A 9:30 a.m. Sunday contemporary worship service in the Parish Life Center. An 11 a.m. contemporary worship service on Sunday morning in the Parish Life Center, and an entirely new worship experience at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings, a coffee house style acoustic worship service in the Parish Life Center. We look forward to having you joining us for any of these 5 worship services. In addition to our in-person worship, we will still be offering each weekend 2 live stream worship services for you to participate in from home. Live stream will happen for our 8 sanctuary Sunday morning service and our 11 Sunday morning contemporary service. While we look forward to welcoming as many of you back to worship as possible, we also encourage those who are within the at-risk population, either because of age or because of some underlying health condition, to continue to worship online from home as long as this pandemic lasts. Because of the need to limit the size of gatherings, and in order to ensure proper social distancing, the first weekend that we are back in worship, July 4th and 5th, each of our worship services will be limited to 30 individuals per service. Beginning the second weekend we are back for in-person worship, July 11th and 12th, that number will increase to a limit of 50 persons per worship service. In order to ensure that we stay within our limits, it will be necessary for everyone who plans on attending in-person worship to pre-register before arriving for worship. Because we need to include the pastors, the musicians, and any other worship assistants in the limited number, the number of actual registration spots for each service will be less than the actual limit.
Oh, young man, what are you doing here?
I'm here to worship.
Well, great. Did you register?
No. How do I register?
You go to our church website at www.stjohns-springfield.org and click the registration button. And from there, you can sign you and your family up. Or you can call the church office at 217-793-3933 and we can sign you up there.
Registration will open each Monday morning at 9 a.m. for the weekend that immediately follows. It will be necessary for you to register each week that you plan on being with us for in-person worship. In addition, you will be asked a number of questions, either through the online registration or on the phone before you register for worship.
Do you promise to check your temperature before coming to worship?
I do.
If you have a temperature of 100 or higher, do you promise to stay home?
I do.
If you have a cough, loss of taste or smell, runny nose, muscle aches, vomiting, diarrhea, or any other cold-like symptoms, do you promise to stay home?
I do.
If you have a family member who is ill, do you promise to stay home?
I do.
If you have traveled outside the area in the past 2 weeks, do you promise to stay home?
I do.
You're good.
Now that you have properly registered to attend worship, you are free to arrive at the church. As you approach the church entrance, an usher will be stationed at the entrance to greet you. Make sure that you are wearing a mask and open the door for you. Masks must be worn at all times that a person is in the building at St. John's. Masks must also be worn properly. Masks must be worn at all times that you are in the building. Masks must also be worn properly. The mask should cover both your mouth and your nose the entire time that you are in the building. As you enter either the sanctuary or the parish life center, an usher will hand you a bulletin. They will also then lead you to the pew or the seat that you are supposed to sit in. In the sanctuary, only every third pew will be available for seating. In the parish life center, chairs will be properly spaced to ensure social distancing. Unfortunately, research has shown that singing in public is one of the worst ways that the virus can be spread. As a result, we have had to make the most difficult decision that for the time being, no congregational singing will be allowed during any of our in-person worship services.
Whole world, in his hands he's got the whole wide world. In his hands he's got the whole wide world. Pastor Pam's sermons are so long, they are so long. Pastor Pam.
Even though there won't be congregational singing during our worship services, all of our worship services will have live worship music. At Saturday evening service, our Saturday musicians will share their gifts of piano music with a song leader who will sing the hymns for us. At 8 o'clock, our organist, Carlo von Ulft, will be at the organ sharing his organ music. Again, a song leader will be present for us to listen to the hymns being sung. At our 9:30 and 11 a.m. contemporary worship services, a small praise team will be available to share their music with us. And at our Sunday evening coffee house worship, St. John's disciple Matt Mifflin will share hymns with us using his voice and his acoustic guitar. Holy Communion will be offered at each of our worship services each weekend. However, unlike normal, we ask that each congregational participant remain seated in their seats to receive communion. Remain seated in your seats. The communion assistants will then bring Holy Communion to you. One of the pastors, gloved and masked, will share the bread with you. You can simply lower your mask in your seat, eat the bread. A second communion assistant, gloved and masked, will then share with you an individual cup filled with either red wine or white grape juice as you prefer. A third communion assistant will then share a basket with you in which you can place your empty communion cup. At the end of each service, we ask that congregational members remain seated in your seat until the ushers come to dismiss you.
Go in peace. Serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Go in peace. Serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
If you are diagnosed with COVID-19 within 14 days after having worshiped with us at St. John's, please contact the church office immediately so that we can take proper measures. For the time being, the church nursery will remain closed, and there will be no transportation ministry available. We hope to resume both of these ministries when the time is right. Thank you for understanding, and we hope that you have enjoyed this video. If worshiping from home continues to be the best option for you, then we certainly encourage you to continue doing that for the time being. If, however, you would like to join us for in-person worship, we would love to have you here. We are working as hard as we possibly can to ensure that worship is safe, accessible, and meaningful for all. Together, we will get through this pandemic. Christ is with us. Be well.